Hey guys, it's Anya, otherwise known as Pink Sweets here on YouTube, and today is the first installment of a new series on my channel called Palette Knockout. So this series has a few different meanings. It's probably going to mean something different each time, but basically this installment is going to be me taking two palettes, comparing them on the eyes. I also swatched them on my arm, which I'll show you in just a second. I'll tell you the prices of each palette. And then we'll do a look with each one, and you guys can kind of decide. This isn't really like a this is better than this one, but it's kind of to show you that you can have, you don't have to have what I'm using in order to get the look that I have on my eyes. Like if you guys have similar shades, you can look in your collection. If you do, you can still get the same eye look. So this is kind of to inspire you to go through your collection. There will also be a couple of episodes where I show you guys why I would prefer to purchase, like a Juvia's Place palette over a drugstore palette, for instance. So there will be different meanings, I guess. This one is more of a, just shop your stash kind of inspiration deal. So I'm going to be using two different palettes today. I'm going to be using the Off-Tropic palette from NYX, and I'm going to be using the Beaute Flair palette. So the Off-Tropic palette from NYX I got at CVS. This is what it looks like on the inside, and this palette retails at CVS for $19.99. $19.99 for a drugstore palette. I'm just saying. So I know that you can get it at certain places cheaper. I know that you can use coupons at certain places, but the same goes for the Beaute palette. So this is about $35. This is what she looks like. Definitely more of a selection, larger pan sizes, and also I have swatches on my hands, and also more of a variety. This one you're only going to be able to get a certain amount of looks. This one you could probably get more. Yes, there's a $15 difference. But for me personally, I would rather get this one than pay $19.99 for a drugstore palette. So now that comes more into play when we're talking about Juvia's Place, because I have palettes that are cheaper than $19.99 that I've gotten from Juvia's Place. So, but I do think that this is a good palette. I have not used it on my eyes, but I have seen one or two looks done with it on Instagram, and also I have swatched it, and they definitely seem like they're pigmented and like they're going to be good quality. So I'm excited to use both of them. And these are the swatches on my arm. You can barely tell the difference. So from the top shade on each of the three rows is going to be the NYX palette. So for the first shade, I have, I don't even know. Okay, so these don't even have names. So the first one is this one right here. The second one is this metallic orange right here. And the third one is this aubergine shade right here. And in the Beaute Flair palette, the first one is called Saffron, which is right here. The second one is called Mirage, which is right here, which is also a metallic, like neon orange. And the third one is called Aubergine, which is right here. And this one is like a satin, sort of sparkly, but this one is a matte. So that is the only difference. So we are going to put both of these puppies on our eyes and see what it looks like, see what we come up with. And I'm excited. So I just kind of want to, I don't know, it's like a little bit more in depth than like just duping a palette, but it's kind of the same thing, I guess. But it's just showing you guys that, if you look at a shadow, even if it's slightly off, for instance, the aubergine shade in the one palette is slightly metallic or slightly shimmery, but the other one is a matte, I believe they're going to perform the same on the eyes. So we will see if I am right, but I think that for that reason, that's why I always encourage you guys to look in your collection as opposed to thinking that you have to buy everything that I have or that I'm using. So I'm going to take this fluffy Juvia's Place brush. It's just stained. And the first shade I'm going to go into is actually going to be Saffron from the Beaute palette. And then I have a towel that I'm going to be wiping off in between. So I'm just going to go in with Saffron from the Ace Beaute palette, like I said. And I'm going to stamp that on into the crease. And this is my first non-green look in a while, right? I'm excited. So let me know what you guys think of this series. Do you want to see palettes go up against each other? Do you have two palettes in mind that you seem, you think are similar and you want to see if they are? Or do you have a palette that you want to buy but you don't want to spend the money on it, and you want to know if there's something cheaper? If any of the above, please let me know in the comments section, and I will try to do my best if I own the palette, or if I can at least look at it and see if I can find something in my collection that might be less expensive. Let me know down below, because who does not like to save money, right? And who does not like to get use out of the stuff they own, right? So I used my MAC white paint stick on my as my eyeshadow base, which is what I normally use. And I'm not blending that out yet too much. Okay, now I'm going to wipe off the brush very well. And then each of these palettes has like kind of a neutral-y shade. So I guess I'm gonna use that shade as well to just kind of diffuse the edges on each side. What have I done? Do you see what I did? You guys were probably screaming at me, but I didn't hear you because we're not actually in person together. But I just put the same shade on both eyes. We're off to a great start. Okay, let's fix that. What is wrong with me? Okay, so let's try that again. Just take that off. At least we didn't get too far into the eye look before I realized I did that. I am just a gem, aren't I? I cannot believe I just did that. Oh, I know Jen is laughing at me right now. Jen from LA Beauty Girly 07. She's my friend, and she just did a opposite hand challenge video, and she also did a how I used to do my makeup and how I do my makeup now video. I'm gonna link her channel up here. Definitely go check her out. She's so funny. But she was going crazy in both videos, like forgetting to do things the way she was supposed to be doing them, and I just did the same thing. That's okay if we get that in our brows, because we're going to be fixing that later. All right, let's try that again. So now we're going into the correct palette, and we're going to use the who knows what shade. All right. Unless you guys thought I had dipped into the correct palette, but I want to show you that I'm, using the right palette. I want to be honest. So right off the bat, it looks pretty much the same. I mean, I definitely think that the NYX palette needs to be built up slightly more than the Ace Beaute palette, but overall, I think that it's doing really, really well. Okay. Yeah, you cannot tell the difference on the eyes at all. So now I'm going into the NYX Off-Tropic Palette, and I'm taking that nude shade. And even though in the Ace Beaute Flair palette, this one is like a shimmery, like peachy nude, and this one is a flat, like you can't even hardly see it nude. I think they're going to have the same effect when I use them, like for the purpose I'm using them for. Yep, pretty much. I'm just taking a little bit more of that red shade. It's like a reddish orange shade, maybe like a hot coral. Okay, now I'm going to clean off the brush again, and I'm going to go into Aubergine from the Ace Beaute Flair palette. And I'm just going to put that on the outer corner. Oh my gosh, the neighbors are being so loud. They've been loud now for like a couple of days. I think they have family in town. That's pretty. Okay, cleaning off the brush, and now we're going to go into this aubergine shade right here. They have about the same kick up in the pan. And like I said, I have another one lined up that is going to be a drugstore. Is it a drugstore? No, it's a high-end palette versus a Juvia's Place palette. So that will be the next installment. And I'm not going to do them like back to back to back. We're going to switch it up. But it will be like within the next week or so. Unless you guys hate this series, and then I'll just stop. Just kidding. Hope you don't hate it. Okay. So I'm going to go in with a little... Actually, I don't think... Do we need to cut the crease? No, I don't think we need to. We're going to go in with our NYX glitter glue on both sides. I don't think you always have to cut the crease. You know what I mean? Especially not when you have really pigmented eyeshadows. And both of these neon oranges are very pigmented. And I wanted to do something that was a look that was kind of like the opposite of green. Since I've done so many green looks. But I am planning, I think I told you guys I was planning on doing kind of a getting ready for the Blue Bloods palette. And I think the way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to create like maybe 3 different looks on different days. Where I take palettes that have shadows that I think are semi-comparable I'm going in first with Firefly, I think it's called, yeah, from the Ace Beaute Flair palette, that I think are kind of comparable to the Blue Blood palette, and do some looks. I think I'm going to do 1 like neutral look and then 2 blue looks. So that if you are not planning on purchasing the Blue Blood palette, whether it's because you don't support Jeffree Star or because you can afford it or just don't want to buy it, then you can have some other options and still get similar looks. So now this is the next one. Here, that hot neon orange shimmer. Okay, so I think this is where I see the biggest difference, because I think this one is a little bit more metallic, but pretty much the same. Not a huge difference. Oh, hold on. But this one actually shows texture more on the lid. The one from the Ace Beaute palette. You can see that. See how over the glitter glue it doesn't look as smooth. Oh, well, it is NYX glitter glue, so maybe that's part of the reason why. But, I mean, it'll still look good from... Now this is the aubergine shade. And then now I'm going into the NYX palette. And then I'm going to take... so let me know if that's something you'd like to see, where I, just give you some options of what you could use to create looks that are similar to shades in the Blue Blood palette. So I took Saffron from the one and the Hot like Coral from the other. Okay. So I'm going to clean this up and then I will come back. We'll finish the lower lash line and the rest of the face. Hold on. Okay, so the only thing I did was my foundation, concealer, powder. So I'm going to do everything else on camera. I'm going to grab my brow pencil. I'm telling you, I'm still using this $1 billion brows. Let me get this foundation off my hand. You know how much I love foundation on my hand. I'm actually going to, oh, that's going to be fun to remove later. Oh, boy. Sorry. I just want to put my sleeve down. Okay. So I've been loving this $1 billion brows. I think it said in my BoxyCharm it was like $18. I'm going to have to try my brows my new way, which is the only difference is after eyeshadow, with my e.l.f. brow pencil and see if I like it as much, because I've really been liking this, but I think fairly soon, well, no, not soon, but like in a few months, I see myself running out of this, and I need to know if I want to repurchase it or if I am content still with my e.l.f. brow pencil, which is only $3. And actually, everything out of my face so far is drugstore, other than the one eye. And now my brows, but yeah, I used the Wet n Wild setting powder. I used the, they're not going to be twins today, but that's all right. I used my Wet n Wild setting powder, which I love so much. Not as much as the Beauty Bakery one, but for $5.99, that's the only downside. So much gets in the lid, and then it just goes up like a plume. So I love drugstore makeup. It's just that I tend to steer away from, this is Makeup Geek. I just tend to steer away from drugstore eyeshadow. But lately, drugstore brands have really been doing a good job with eyeshadows. Like, I mean, NYX, I feel like, has always kind of done a good job, but I've never been like, oh, I love that palette as much as something else, you know, like Juvia's Place or something like that. I mean, there went my mascara. I have said, oh, I love that more or as much as, like, I don't know, Anastasia or something like that. Like, there are certain brands that are high-end that are not my favorite. But I guess I don't consider Juvia's Place to be high-end. Like, they're not expensive. But I am going to be comparing, the look that I'm going to be doing with a Juvia's Place palette against another brand, it's going to be Natasha Denona. Because I own a lot of Natasha Denona palettes. Not so much the newer ones. Like, I don't have the gold one yet, although I do want to get that one. But I receive most of them as gifts, and I just tend to not gravitate towards them the way that I do my Juvia's Place palettes. So it's an excuse to kind of get them out and play with them. All right, so I'm going to go in with my Rose Toner Facial Spray from Trader Joe's. I think this is like the 7th one now that I've only got a quarter of it left. And I am going to use this Jeffree Star highlighter after I drop my brow pencil in Wet Dream. I think I want to get the Snowball one. If it is it called Snowball? No, Snow Globe. If it is back in stock when the Blue Blood collection releases, I might get it. because I really like these way more than I thought I was going to. And from the Blue Blood collection, I think I want to get at least one of the lip scrubs because I have the lip scrubs in all the other like limited edition containers. But I don't think I want to get all the flavors like I normally would because, I mean, they're made with real sugar, they're vegan, cruelty-free, all that stuff. And I feel like I'm going to very quickly own way too many and I'm not going to be able to keep up. So, and they're going to go bad and I don't want that. So, I might just get blueberry pie, but I want to get the palette and I know I want to get the mirror. I'm going into aubergine from the Beaute Flair palette. And I know that I want to get, the mirror and I know that I want to get the lip bundle. And I know that I want to get some of the liquid frosts, like I mentioned in a previous video, because I really do like, I'm not a liquid highlighter fan, but I do really like his, and I keep forgetting to use them in a video, including now in this one too. This would have been perfect to use it, but I really want specifically like the really blue ones. There's one that's like less blue, or it's not blue at all. It's more like a goldy peach shade, and from the new collection, and that one I will not pick up, but I do want to get like the different blue shades. Okay, for inner corner, I guess I'm going to take from each palette the neon orange. I almost said neon green. No. Yeah, I'll just wrap that around. Technically, I guess I could have taken the green from each palette. Now that I have this blended out, it does not look as like textured as it did before, so that's good. Okay, and now I need to get the mascara that I dropped. Okay, bear with me for 1 second. I have no idea. Oh, you guys. Okay, so, that is fun. Where did I drop that on the ground too? No. So my phone has not been working properly. And I have a stylus, and my stylus is the only way that my phone will turn off and on. Did I just move you guys without meaning to? Okay. Hey, sorry guys. Hey Brian, can you pass me your stylus nonchalantly? I'm filming. So I'm doing the Better Than Sex mascara from Too Faced. I decided to use my phone today, and I have to use the stylus to... The touch screen is not working, is what I'm trying to say. Just pass it with your arm. Thank you. Okay, now I got his, so I can use that until I figure out what the heck I did with mine. I might have dropped it with the mascara. But yeah, it's super annoying. I was going to get my phone fixed, however, I am replacing it, and so I don't need to get it repaired, because then you have to pay like your insurance deductible and blah 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 blah. So I'm just going to wait. Okay, so I know this is super boring, but I'm just going to use the exact same lip color that I used in yesterday's video, because the ColourPop one. I am in love with this lip color. I promise to start using different ones in the future, but I think it'll also go perfect with this eye color. So let me know if you've had that happen where your touch screen has just stopped working on your phone ever. It has been a nightmare. Especially when you're trying to do something quickly. I'm definitely going to see what other shades of lip color they have for this. I'm telling you, it lasts for hours and hours and hours. So, okay. Let me know what you guys thought about this series. Let me know if you like this comparison and, you know, me giving you my thoughts on each palette and seeing, you know, which one works better if we found a hidden gem. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.